if you feel like you don't want to be on social media or dancing in reels, and if you're like me, you maybe feel a little bit too old for all this stuff, then I really would recommend thinking about putting your effort in an email list. It's the most valuable asset in my business.
Welcome to this week's episode of Grow with Evelyn. Today I have the huge pleasure to have my friend Julia Schürer here. She was one of my first students and her backstory and journey is just incredible. She has been a copywriter, made around $20,000 a month writing for others. Then, because she had to be away from the business for a little while, lost pretty much all her clients, decided that a service business isn't where she wants to be long term, especially because she also had her son. So she ventured into coaching, consulting, and online education, first in the high ticket space, but immediately fell for a guru, didn't have the best experience. That's around the time when we connected. Julia kind of restarted, eventually had a membership, was really successful in German, in the DACH region. She built her memberships to 10K per month and she was making 6 figures in that time. Then she kind of ventured again into high ticket, rediscovered that it's not for her, but also found that she wants to potentially outgrow the German market and transition into the English speaking market. Now she has, again, memberships there. She has hundreds of members there where she now teaches about storytelling. And it's really interesting to see how she inspires members because English is not her first language. And you'll see as we have the conversation, that it's just like with me, you can hear it. And still she has those memberships. She teaches it. She sells really, really well, although it's not her first language. And she really inspires a lot of people. So today we'll talk about this journey, but we will also talk a lot about the how to tell stories to turn things like shitstorms and, setbacks, like all your launch emails go out at once, into customers. And we will get to talk a lot about why we're not posting on social media this summer. Julia, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you.
Thank you. What an introduction. I don't know what to say. Thank you that I can be a guest in your podcast. And yeah, let's talk about whatever you want.
I'm so excited to have you because you have been such an inspiration for my members lately because you have been so brave to go for the English-speaking market. And this didn't only give some of the members in our memberships that currently are also in the German-speaking market and kind of thinking about going internationally permission, but I think even for people where English is the first language, you give them a lot of permission and inspiration to just write because you show that even if it's not your first language and even if you struggle with tools like ChatGPT, etc., you can still write decent stories and create content that convert. Can you tell me a little bit, how was the transition to you and what kind of tools do you use to write great content, even though it's not your first language?
Yeah. The transition to the international market was quite, I would like to say, exhausting and filled with a lot of anxieties. So I think it's just a year. So I transitioned in August last year, 2023. And I remember when I had my first group coaching call with my beta clients, it was hot as hell outside. We got 40 degrees. And here in my office, we are right under the roof. It was super hot, like in a sauna. And I had this call and I thought, oh my God, what happened when there is someone who I don't understand or if I can't express myself? And I started sweating, really sweating. And when the call ended, my husband asked me, honey, did you do an exercise or a Zoom call? And I felt like I did an exercise. So I struggled a lot, really a lot. I think my biggest problem was that I wasn't able to express myself because of the language barrier. So in my head, I knew what I want to write and say, but I couldn't say or write it because I didn't have the vocabulary or and this is, I think, some kind of a big problem, is just how to explain something from German into English. It's not the same language. And this is this is hard. So I started for sure using ChatGPT. And at the beginning, I put everything in German into a chat and then let ChatGPT translate it. And because my English wasn't that good, I didn't saw or I didn't feel that this is totally ChatGPT language, because I had no idea how it should sound. And then, I ended up with content that really has all these, and I didn't knew that is all these marketing power words like self. So I didn't know that nobody is using this word. So people started, hey, Julia, I'm so sorry, but you're a writing teacher and you're using ChatGPT. And then I had to learn how to use ChatGPT as a helper and not as a writer. And this is what I'm still doing.
I think there's so many beautiful nuggets in the story, because I think that when you have your first coaching call, or let's say, the first time you kind of putting yourself out there and it's really, really uncomfortable. I remember the first time I went live on Facebook. I started the live stream. I was so nervous. Nobody was watching. I was even more nervous. One person came on and I got excited. They went off. I got so sad. And all of this felt like so painful and humiliating. And like you said, I also was my back was all sweaty. I was basically completely soaked because it was so exhausting. And at the same time, when looking back, nothing really happened because nobody would have seen that. And in your case, the stakes were even higher because you were sitting there with clients. But I know, because I know where your memberships are now at multiple hundred members, they were forgiving, right? And they saw you as a human there trying your best to serve them. And I think many of them are still with you. Maybe we can touch on that in a second. And then also with the writing, right? So many people are so afraid of making mistakes or, coming across a certain way or being perceived a certain way, that they don't even use ChatGPT to put something out there. So they don't put anything out there. And that's probably worse than putting something out there with ChatGPT, because at least if you start like that, you can make it better.
Yeah, sure. I totally agree. I didn't realize that I am a role model. I never wanted to be a role model. And it's just my story. And I realized that all these anxieties and all these mistakes I'm doing with my grammar and with my English skills is part of my unique story. And people are like, hey, Julia, you are so brave. And I'm so, no, I just put myself out there. It's okay. So that's fine. I'm making mistakes. That's okay. And then the people say, no, Julia, you are the reason why I put myself out there now. And I'm like, what? So I never wanted to be someone who is a role model, but now I am, because I have anxieties and I'm still doing things. So that's funny.
I think that when people call us brave, we feel that how it needs to feel like internally is like this Braveheart moment, right? Where we go into battle and but I think what being brave really looks like is like you're really scared, but you do it anyways. And so you've done that and you've role modeled this so beautifully. I don't know if you have seen this post already, but Kathy Briquet posted yesterday in Coaching Membership Method that she got her first 200 mini members organically. And she thanked you specifically for role modeling and helping her to get really consistent with the content. So I think that's what it means for people, right? So for you, it's imperfect and it could always be better. And you're beating yourself up because you said unleash or supercharge or embarking on a journey with ChatGPT. But you inspired people to put themselves out there and, get seen by customers, and ultimately it's life-changing. Can you tell me a little bit more about the times when you were also brave, then it fired back because something inconvenient happened, and how you used telling the story of what just happened to turn things around and towards your favor? Because I think you have done this a few times exceptionally well.
Yeah, I think you're talking about the shitstorm I had, maybe.
Oh yeah, or about the launch emails.
Oh, the launch emails. I think the launch emails
Shitstorm, I think, is maybe even more important to talk about, because when people put themselves out there, right, that's exactly what we fear. We fear that, okay, we're now taking imperfect action. We're putting ourselves out there, but we don't get this thumbs up encouragement. I see you trying over there, go, 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 but you actually get like hate, negative comments. So I think that might be an even more important story to tell. Hey, Evelyn here. I just quickly wanted to hop on to encourage you to sign up to my newsletter. When you do that, you'll not only be informed as soon as a new episode drops, but you also get access to my exclusive Growth goodie bag. That is a collection of highly valuable resources provided by our guests and myself, tools, strategies, case studies, templates, and so much more that will help you to grow and monetize that growth journey. If that sounds fair, then click the link and make sure to sign up to my newsletter.
I think haters and trolls and people who don't like you are part of the game. So there is nothing you can do against. You have to learn how to handle it. And for me, very honest, it's super hard. I take things 100% personally. So when a member is canceling, I take this personally. When someone said something sad or hurting, I always take this personally. For me, it's part of the game and I have to learn how to handle it. This is why I put my husband in front of me for customer service. So I know this is nothing against me when a member is canceling. It's maybe, and it's different reasons, and I don't care why, but this is a thing. This is hard for me. So, and I'm not able to overcome this at the moment. So I decided to put my husband in front of me. So that's...
So he manages the cancellations, right?
Yeah.
Because I know that you doing the customer service in your groups, right?
Yeah.
But he's just taking care of that particular part.
Yeah.
I think that's smart.
Yeah. And talking about the shitstorm is also a thing I never wanted to be in a shitstorm again, because to be very honest, this was one of the most... I don't know how to say, it was a horrible day and I never had a day like this again. And I had a shitstorm in 2021. This must be now 3 years. I think it was in June. And you helped me a lot to don't take it personally and also don't answer all these hater comments in a way that, how do you say, to put gas on the fire?
Yeah, you don't want to feed the monster, basically.
Yeah. So this was all about just being very clear in and explaining the situation. And coming back to my launch failure, where I sent out accidentally all of my launch emails in one day, in 1 hour. I think it was 8 emails or something. So this is also part of the online business or business game you play. So it's, even if you are very experienced, and I feel like I'm very experienced, so I'm doing this since 2020, you are going to make mistakes. And you're a human being, so you make mistakes. As a mom, I know you make mistakes every single day. That's also part of the game. But I think being very honest and transparent about what went wrong and sharing what you have learned is helping other people, I think, in the first place, not to prevent them from making failures, just to show them that it's pretty normal. It's
Absolutely
normal. So I sent out an email a few days ago about this specific topic when I say, hey, when you put yourself out there, when you write a post or send out an email and sharing your journey, even if something went wrong, someone needs to hear this, because this person is sitting in front of his, let's say, smartphone, reading your email, and then this person thinks, oh my God, she has also anxieties or made mistakes or whatever. No, I feel like, okay, I can do this too, because when she failed, I can do it either. So
yeah,
I think sharing what went wrong is more important than just sharing how much money you make, how many clients you have. So this is also important. This is also part of the marketing. But I think relationships with your audience were made from being transparent and honest with your mistakes and failures, and not with how much money you make or how much weight you've lost, or I don't know, if you have saved your marriage or something.
Mm-hmm. I love so much of this. I want to say something to it. Before that, I just very quickly want to make sure that the person listening knows the full story of the shitstorm. So basically, Julia trademarked an expression that a few people were using, but it was completely fine. And to do that, and then somebody made up a story about she will now go and sue everybody using the word. So it was not true, but it immediately got like a big uproar in the scene. And I remember when the first like comments came in and when Julia contacted me, and it was like, when you have something like this, it is really a storm. It is, you know, when you're posting and then you usually get 10 likes, 15 likes, or even when you're bigger, 50, 70 likes on a post, or, you know, at one point even 100, this is when the messages come in like boom, 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 boom. And one is more aggressive and hurtful and just from the content false than the previous one. And everybody's kind of rallying each other up. So that was the situation. And I don't know if you can emphasize with this, but it's like highly stressful. And the only reason that I knew how to handle this was because a few months before that happened to Julia, it happened to me. I had created ad swipe files, which is something that advertisers do all the time, with commentary on popular ads on what I think is amazing about them and what they basically are intending to do. And somebody was taking that swipe file and sharing it in a big group and saying, this person stole everyone's ads, basically, and is pretending that she's running them, which was not the case. It was, you know, clear that this is a swipe file. But also because of how it was initially put, people were immediately jumping on it and rallying in it. And then I got tagged like a lot and I was like, what's going on? And eventually I was able to not respond to any of the comments, but explain my point of view kind of with grace and dignity and just hold that truth. And the things turned completely around. So I knew that it was possible if you're not getting reactive to it, which also is something that I did once wrong in the past, right? Because it's when you're under that situation, your inner 4-year-old is just taking over the driver's seat. And basically what Julia did during the shitstorm was also that she put out a very carefully written, honest message to clarify the situation. And eventually it turned out to actually get her clients into her membership because they really appreciated how she handled the situation and how she carried herself. The same with the emails. When all the emails went out, she sent an email about, hey, this just happened, right? And sometimes in business, things can go wrong. And again, there were people joining her membership and her world because of how she learned from that mistake. And I think that's what you also explained well, is people think vulnerability in our content means sob stories, right? Rags to riches, I hit rock bottom. And this is, if it's your story and if it's authentic, great, but you can only tell that story so many times. But if you document honestly what you did well and where you messed up, that I believe is what you also do so exceptionally well and why your members love you so much and, you know, are so understanding of all the things that happen to you and to me and potentially also to them with their own clients.
Yeah, 100%. I don't have to add something. It's true.
So you now have kind of found your niche after different angles, but it always was definitely connected to content because you just had this edge. You're just a great writer. You have your experience from copywriting, carry that over. What is your specific niche right now and how did you land in it?
Yeah. I am in the niche of storytelling, and I feel like I'm niching down more into email writing. And how do I get there? So when I was 16, I wanted to become a journalist for a local newspaper in Germany. It's called Süddeutsche Zeitung. And I was a freelance journalist for a part of this newspaper. So I felt like, oh my God, this is the big world of journalism. So you went out and the big stories. And then I made a kind of traineeship in a very suburban part of this newspaper. It was really, really outside from everything. And I made a traineeship for a month. And I realized this is the most boring stuff I've ever done, because you went out to, I don't know if I can explain it in English, but if someone is building a house, then you have some kind of a little party when the house it's ready. And there come a lot of people came there, and they built, I think, a new community house. And I had to be there and write an article about this. And I said,
okay, about the village community house opening.
It's like it's like in German, it's like a Haustaufe. So when you throw a bottle onto a house, so
it's like you baptize the house.
yeah, exactly. So and they were so boring, and I thought, no, this is so boring, and I can't do this for my next 40 years of my life. So, and then I entered the online journalism niche, and then I started writing for different online magazines, and I thought this is more what I wanted to do. It's not so strict to journalism rules. It's a little bit free. And then I entered the online marketing world with a search engine optimization, and I worked as a freelancer for an agency, but very specific for content writing with SEO, search engine optimization. And this is where I started entering the online marketing world, the online business world, and I've learned how online writing works. And then I entered copywriting. And so I came step by step into the online business world. I was a freelancer for years. Then I got pregnant. I lost all my clients, and I realized, okay, I'm doing it's a mouth-to-mouth business. So you just get your clients from recommendations is not how a good business can work, because you always rely on recommendations. And while I was at home with our son, I tried to create an online course. And this online course promised to have a full online course ready to launch in 12 weeks. And after 3 months, I think it was a module 3, she said, okay, now you have to build a community. And I thought,
you bought the course about the course.
Yeah, I bought the course about how to get a ready-to-launch course in 12 weeks. And after week 3, she said, okay, now you have to build a community. And I thought, okay, building a community is maybe needs a while. Then COVID hit the world, and then I entered the coaching business. And as you said, fell for a guru, and then finally meet you.
Oh, I think that's a big problem with all the courses. And I'm not even sure if it's ill-intentioned or if it's really just a problem from the person positioning it, because it's a lot of people that launch your course, and then it's basically like create and set up your course on the back end. But it's the audience piece obviously is so important. And I personally, that's why I'm a fan of pre-selling a lot, like very transparently, right? You're saying, I plan to do this live. It's not ready, but here's my vision. And then ultimately co-creating with people, or even having those memberships that live and build the content out for serving, is because when you create something before you have people to create it for, you basically have a very high chance of creating not something that doesn't have product to market fit. What was the first course you created? What did you start working on there?
I started creating a course on how to repurpose your content. It was a full strategy on how to start with a blog post, turning this into a podcast, and from that, creating social media snippets and pieces. And I recorded every single lesson really until 4 a.m. in the morning. And I never put this course out there. I can't remember why, but I think it's still on my laptop.
That's crazy. Can you talk to me about all the things on your laptop and putting in the reps basically to get to a point? I would love to hear.
I have so many courses and stuff on my laptop, but I think, and I hope you're asking me for what I bought, not what I created. I have a lot of these shiny objects on my laptop, which came through my feed in the middle of the night. Most of the times after we had our coaching calls, I was awake very long in the night, and then Facebook starts showing me ads and stuff. And I bought a lot of things and things I never used just because I thought this is the solution for $37 I am looking for. And I found out it's not. So there is no big solution for 33 or let's say a few dollars. Yeah, I have a lot of the stuff on my laptop.
So no magic bullet. If there's no magic bullet, what is actually working? What ultimately, when you think of all the things you did over the, last 4 years, what are the things that actually move the needle for you when it comes to acquiring members? I would love to hear.
I think it was a combination from ads and emails. So ads is really the game changer still. So my business wouldn't exist without ads. So our lead campaign we created in November 2023 is still running, for, I think, less than 80 cents per lead. It's half a year, more than half a year. So ads is the base of my business. And then I tried a lot on social media. I bought a lot of courses on how to create reels, how to sell in story and Instagram stories, how to write high-performance carousel posts. And I tried to implement everything of that. And I always felt like, oh, this is so much time for just a few likes or maybe 500 views on a reel. And I'm very sure that I did not put 200% effort in this, but I didn't feel it's right for me. But every time I send out an email, I get at least one response or maybe more. Some emails get 10 or 12 or 20 responses. I think the more emotional and the more honest and raw a story is, the more replies I get. But email, even in my German business, and Germans hate emails. So if you run a business in Germany, you only allowed to send one email a week. And this is too much for some of my, this was.
I know, because when I consult my German students and I'm like, yeah, these and these, they're like, no, we can't do it. Yeah. Like people will come to my house and kick my butt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I remember when we did our first freebie automation, I said, no, I can send out the welcome sequence every day. So 7 emails in 7 days. No way. So I think I send out every 3 days. So I have clients, they also in Germany, and they say I'm sending 1 email per week. But I think I want to just clarify something here. I learned in my German business that if you send out only 1 email per week, people won't remember who you are.
Yeah.
So when they grab a freebie or any free resource, and then I start sending only 1 email per week, nobody knows, who is this Julia? Why is she emailing me? So this is really, if you want to be rememberable, you need to send at least for your welcome sequence every single day. I have a 30-day welcome sequence. I'm sending 30 emails in a row. So, and people love it.
The 30-day sequence was so popular with my members as well, because it was pure just value content, but you still got sales from it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One of my members asked me in the last Q&A what I would change when I would do the 30-day sequence again. And I said, I'm still in the process of recreating it for a new freebie. And when I implemented it first, I said, I will not sell something. And while people like it, I see I can do more. I can get more out of this. And I switched recently from MailerLite to Active Campaign. I switched back. And I started to add at least one mini offer in every single email. So every newsletter has a little banner or a menu where I link a offer. It's less than $10. So most of the times my $2.99 templates or the $5 school membership. And I got sales from every single email. So there's no email where I have zero sales. And even it's only $2.99, I don't care how much it is. What I do care is that people trust me and my emails so much that they buy something. And I'm recreating the 30-day sequence. And the first email said, I will not pursuing you into something or push you into a high ticket offer, but I will link mini offers. Why? Because I'm running a business and I have to sell something. And you are here because you're running a business too. And you need to sell something. So this is the deal. So you can get a lot of value.
I love this, setting the expectations. That's cool.
I'm very straight when it comes to setting expectations. I'm not that kind of a soft expectation setter, but people like it. And I think I still love having a welcome sequence from 5 to 8 emails. And I think it's possible to sell people into a membership or another low ticket offer like $9, whatever tripwire. But I think it's better to have this longer sequence because, like one of my business buddies said, when they survive your 30-day sequence, then they are totally ready to buy. And this is true.
Yeah.
If you have people on your list who with you for 30 days and people reading these emails, I have people who sending me mails and saying, Julia, I've lost email number, whatever, 124. Can you send them me again, please?
Oh, I love this.
So you have such a strong relationship after, and this is really sharing not only insights, but failures, mistakes, very raw and real. People who are then on your list and still opening your emails, these are your most loyal subscribers.
That's so cool. I also wanted to touch base on that where you said, oh, I don't care if it's only $2.99. I think what most people overlook, if it's only $2.99, the person went from subscriber to customer. And it's a very different relationship. And all your future communication is received in a very different way because they trusted you once with their money and it is just changing something. Do you have that experience as well, or is it just me?
No, I have the same experience. So I think when I say it's easier to sell something, I don't mean I would like to push someone into an offer, but if you first offer mini offers for, let's say, $2.99, or I think it must be under $3. So really mini offers. And if people are purchasing that, they are more likely to purchase another offer because they trust you and they're not disappointed for $2.99. So when you offer a lot of value for $2.99, then people think, okay, this is what I'm getting for $2.99. What will I get for $10, for $12, for $200 if you launch a course or a whatever coaching program?
Oh, I love that you touched base on this because I think that's where also a lot of people go wrong is that they think, oh, it's $2.99, like I give them a cheat sheet or whatever, but you're actually anchoring the value that somebody can expect from you as a knowledge provider. So thank you so much for touching base on that. When it comes to going wrong with email, so when there's people that say their lead generation campaign works really well, but then their emails don't convert, where do you see members usually go wrong?
Mm-hmm. I think it can be different things. The first thing is sending to less emails. What I mean with that is just once a week. I'm sending an email for every second day. And since I'm doing that, I have the highest open rates ever. So when I only send once per week, my open rates were below 30%. And now I have open rates from more than 40% for
So
each
good.
newsletter. I think sending too less. And then I think the second mistake people do is just writing something, like sharing the next 5 tips for whatever. So this is what I'm saying to my clients every time we have a live call. I'm always saying, hey, people can find your next 5 tips for weight loss by watching YouTube videos or using Google. This is nothing people came for. People came for, and this is what we discussed in our last lounge, and this is, people are always coming back for this one sentence from you. They say, I love that Evelyn said people came for your insights and not for your knowledge. And this is so true. And sharing insights, this is your journey, mistakes, failures, and also wins. So I love sharing wins. And I think this is number 2. And number 3 is people are not transparent enough. So when they're sharing something, they always avoid to go really deep and be very raw in their stories.
Yeah.
And I think this is the small tweak you can do to get more out of your emails. The more raw you are and the more real and honest and transparent, the more people thinking, okay, wow, what the heck? She's sharing this. And then they call you brave just for sharing your failures.
Yeah.
So I think these are the 3 main points that people can do and change immediately to get more out of their emails. And don't forget to sell something. Always link an offer.
I love this. And this is what we need to clip because yes. Yeah, all of this, yes. Yes on the frequency. Yes on knowledge versus insight. Maybe we can double down on that, right? So the 5 tips, people don't want to know the 5 tips. The people want to know, here are the 5 things that help me personally and why and how I think and felt about them, right? So people really, the knowledge is something you can get out of ChatGPT, but the experiential essence of what was that like, that can only come from you, and that will have shades and nuance because of your personal story and values and beliefs. And with that, you also much more, you're not only reaching the person and saying something that truly matters and makes a difference, which I think everything else is disrespectful towards their time and your own time. If you're just writing something for the sake of having sent an email, it's disrespectful towards your time. It's disrespectful towards the reader's time. And then I think the transparency also, I think there has been a huge shift in the market from we need to be these perfect gurus that people pedestal to we're just on the journey as you are, and we're walking and you can decide to walk with us. So, and sell something.
Yeah, and sell something. Yeah. Maybe it's just a little tip for those who are a bit of afraid of linking offers. Your footer is your most valuable section in your email when you feel like, or maybe when you don't confident enough to, like me, putting your offers in the middle of your email. The footer section is gold. So I have in every of my 30-day welcome sequence, I have a footer with a mock-up and a link and a short description to my membership. And I don't call this offer out in my email. I just have it in every single email. This got me clients really every single day. And so I'm building my membership in an organic way without paying ads, without paying for ads.
Yeah. I mean, with the list growth, you pay initially for the contact of the person, but then you can re-reach for free. When you say you're bold because you put the offer in the middle of the email, can we explain to the person listening, what does that look like? And is there a way to do this without coming across like super salesy or pushy?
I have just a mock-up in the third quarter of my emails. So I cut my emails into 3 parts, and the middle part is an offer. I think maybe it looks like a advertising banner or something.
Okay.
It's a mock-up. It has a colored background, and then it has a nice mock-up, and it's basically the same mock-up I put in my footer, but I just decided to not wanted to have it down below. I just wanted to have it in the middle of my email. It was an experiment. I wanted to see if people are unsubscribing more from my emails when I have the offer in the middle of the email, because it's really, it's like advertising. So your reading
like a
process,
blog post, actually, right?
Yeah, it's like a blog post. And on blog posts, you also have these advertising banners. So, and my unsubscribes rate is not higher than before. So, but the click rate is higher. I get more clients for my mini offers. And when I say that, I don't mean it in a bad way, but I think if you not share your offers right from the beginning, then people are maybe trained to get emails from you only with value. When I say only, I don't mean that value isn't valuable, but when you then launch an offer, maybe with a flash sale or something, then people are, why she's now offering me something? I get value emails for the past 3 months, and now she's offering something. And then you have very high unsubscribe rate. But when you advertise constantly in every email, then people know that you have something to offer. And then they take a step into your world, like buying for $2.99 a bunch of content templates. And then they say, wow, she has another offer. Oh, I like her offer for $2.99. Let's jump into her $2 online course.
This is so cool. So first off, thank you so much. I learned something completely new, and I will test this. I have not heard this ever before, and I have not tested this ever before, but it makes so much sense. And I think this is where maybe your past experience from writing those corporate blog posts just gave you an edge on trying something new. I love that you measured it. And I also love that, again, you're setting the right expectation with your reader, right? So I think maybe this is something that you have learned that then I can learn from you. When we started working together, you and I have a little bit different kind of approaches to how we want to set up the relationship with someone. So for me, it feels easiest to just pour in everything I got, and I'm like, I trust that the right people will reciprocate. That's kind of my approach, and that makes me feel safe. And for you, that always was feeling a little bit like, I want this to be, I'm super okay with over delivering. At the same time, I want to have a somewhat respectful, fair exchange, which I think is a totally fair and valid point, right? And I actually see that my approach of just pour in and trust that the right people will reciprocate creates a barrier for many people that do have the desire, no, I do want a fair exchange and a respectful relationship. I feel that's also what ultimately got you this one time a little bit back towards high ticket. And now I see how you actually have solved this through setting the right expectations pretty explicitly with your subscribers.
Yeah, this is really something I swore to myself to set the right expectations right from the beginning. I try to be like you because you're my teacher. I learned everything I knew from you. So I try to just deliver first and then ask for the sale. But I always felt like, no, I love putting everything into an offer in an email, and you can get everything from me. I'm sending out a monthly free gift for my subscribers. So I'm gifting my subscribers. In this gift email, there's nothing to sell. It's just a free gift for them. So, but I want them to feel like this is a valuable exchange. So when they give me their email address, they expect value, but I also expect that they know that I have a business and that they know that I have something to buy. And I think there is no hidden messaging secret to let people slightly slip into your offers. There is just a way to say, hi, I'm Julia and I have something to sell. But at the other side, I share a lot of value. And if you want to stay in my world, you are very welcome. And this is something I think say in my emails, I really say, hey, if you want to stay in my world, then I have something to sell. And if you don't want, here you can unsubscribe. And I put the unsubscribe link directly under the sentence. Yeah.
Cool.
And I bolded.
And, because I know you and I've experienced you, I can also see how setting that expectation and boundary for you unlocks being able to be so consistent. Because since you've made those changes, I can see you showing up so consistently. And I think that just needed to happen for you to feel really okay about that relationship. Is this right?
Exactly. This is 100% right. Since I decided to change my approach completely, I am very consistent because now I feel valued. I feel like, okay, now I can give everything I can and people love what I give and they don't like, ooh, Julia's making an offer. I don't like it.
It's so many kind of mindset shifts that you have to go through. And sometimes also, it might just be a core value of yours because you're holding on to it so tightly, right? So I think it's a like slippery slope, right? For you as a coach, when you kind of convey something that works well for you, because of your core values, it's a belief for you, right? And when you see somebody else, it's easy to think, oh, that's a limiting belief they're holding, but not seeing that belief might be really important for the person because of their underlying core values, right? So maybe fairness is a really strong underlying value for you, and you're not able or willing, right? It's not the right choice for you to let go of that belief. And I think that you just, with the way you're approaching this now, you set a beautiful example for how you can hold on to what is true and necessary, for you, and still find a way to show up.
Yeah. This is so true. Fairness is something that is really, really important for me. And I always want to be fair to everyone, but I want also to be fair treated. So
you want to be fair to yourself as well, because you also.
Yeah, but I then also want that people treating me the same way. So I think I don't know how to say it's auf Augenhöhe sein. So
it's a matter to be on eye to eye level, and having self-respect.
Yeah, I think being on an eye to eye level with people in your audience, and I don't mean clients only. I mean all the people who are in your world, and they trusting you with either subscribing to your social channel or giving you their email address. And this is a sign of trust. And in exchange, I'm sharing value, but I don't want to be like, okay, I'm trusting you very much, and this is why I'm expecting the most value you can share without selling me something. No, this is not how my business works. And if I need or should encourage people to do anything in their business, I would say, think about how you really want to be treated from people and then act like you want to be treated. Because if you are always afraid of selling, then you will be afraid of selling then when it comes to launching. But if you build confidence step by step by sharing mini offers for $2.99, and then you get the experience people are buying, and you don't have to show up in a launch or on Instagram or whatever, then you start then you became more confident, and you have this eye-on-eye relationship with your audience.
I love that. This is so good. Maybe we can, for the person that is currently maybe just starting out or feeling stuck, what is the number one thing that, or, feeling like something in my business is not aligned, it's just not clicking? What is the advice that you would give them?
I would say, sit down and write how your business should look like in a perfect world, no matter what's around you, husbands, kids, money, everything is perfect. Write down and how should your business look like? And then cover the page, go for a walk, and think, what do I have to do to get this perfect business? how should I act? How should I show up? What kind of people do I want in my audience? So I think when you don't have an idea how your ideal world, ideal business, ideal relationship should look like, how the heck could you act? So there's no way you can reach this goal when you don't have an idea how your perfect world should look like.
This is so important. I feel that a lot of people come from, I don't want to be here, so take me somewhere else. And then, they're choosing the next best shiny object that sounds like somewhere else without evaluating, is that place where this person is taking me because their life looks a certain way where I truly want to go?
Yeah.
What did you realize about, where you wanted to go initially and where you want to go right now? Did anything change, or is it still the same?
No, I think things changed a lot. And to be very honest, I have no idea where I want to be in a few years, but I know how my perfect business will look like. And I am more confident. I think the process from transitioning to the English-speaking market and showing up without fluent English speaking skills helped me becoming a more confident person in many ways in my life, not only in my business, but also in my life. I think I'm more brave to say what I want and what I expect from others. So I'm not longer this needy person. So I was a very needy person because I was so afraid that I am losing clients, that I don't make this much money I am expecting to make. But since I really sat down and thought about how will my perfect business look like? How much money will I make? How much money will I bring home? What kind of offers do I want to have? And when I realized how this looks like, it changes really everything. So the whole approach, how I was showing up, how I'm writing emails, and all the stuff from emails and offering came from, hey, this is how my perfect business should look like. And this came all from this. Maybe it's a kind of a new offer.
Yeah, I think people really would need that exercise. It is so easy to just start running somewhere. And it's so hard to actually take the time and figure this out, because the truth is that no coach can do this inner work for you. And I think that's one of the reasons why, for example, insightful emails are so helpful, because they're showing you the inner work that somebody else did, right? So with that, you are saving people time. At the same time, there are only so many pieces you can pick from someone. Like you, for example, from me, there are certain pieces I had to offer on the table that were just not the right fit for you. So there was always this place of, here, my inner work and my inner dialogue and my reflection practice needs to happen so that I can build something that is truly me, because everything else will just not be sustainable in the long term.
Yeah, totally true.
Any final words or lessons that you would love to share with the audience, with the person listening?
Yes, I want to share something that I feel like many people are holding back. So if you feel like you don't want to be on social media or dancing in reels, and if you're like me, you maybe feel a little bit too old for all this stuff, then I really would recommend thinking about putting your effort in an email list. It's the most valuable asset in my business. And I would never be here without my email list, neither in the international market nor in the German market.
Thank you so much for sharing. Julia, that was an amazing conversation. I'm so grateful we had you on. I'm so excited. Thank you so much again.
Thank you too.